We'll get to the specific details in just a few minutes, but first of all, we want to give you an overview of the truckers' boycott of New York City. Now, mark this down in your mind, there are over 3.5 million professional truck drivers in the United States of America. Many of them go to New York City because, well, it's basically the financial hub of a nation. Everybody goes to New York City. Not everybody, but it's a primary, again, financial hub. So what happens if these people these truck drivers boycott New York City? Well, it's going to be devastating. So that is what they are doing. The reason they're doing it is because they, by and large, are supporters of Donald Trump. We'll talk about that some more when we do our takeaway at the end. But they are basically supporters of Donald Trump, and they are miffed because the former president is being fined for civil fraud. How much is he being fined? Well, let's take a look. Here are the details. Number one, we've got 7 of these things you need to know. Truckers supporting Donald Trump are warning that their refusal to deliver to New York City could have significant consequences, potentially paralyzing the city. And by the way, I am an extemporaneous speaker. I don't like to use notes. I don't like to use one of those things that you put in front of your camera and read. What do you call that? I'm getting old. I forget. Number 2, the boycott comes in. The reason I say that is sometimes I stumble over words. I just leave them in the video. I don't go back and edit stuff out unless it's really bad. Number 2, the boycott comes in response to Manhattan Supreme Court Justice Arthur Engoron's ruling to fine Trump $355 million for civil fraud. And in addition to that, my understanding is they have barred him, or they intend to bar him from doing business in New York City for 3 years. Number 3, Jennifer Hernandez. This is a participating trucker, emphasized the goal is not to harm New Yorkers, but rather warns of potential price increases for goods, even if a small percentage of trucks stop delivering to the city. So let's say 10% of them. Where, truckers don't want to go to New York City anyhow. I mean, just because of the crime and the violence. Number 4 is there's a social media influencer named Chicago Ray. I don't know who he is, but the media knows, so apparently he's a big deal. And he has been instrumental, the reports say, in spreading the message of the boycott, claiming support from many of these guys, many of these truckers. Detail number 5 is some truckers have suggested the boycott could last for an extended period of time. One individual, as we mentioned earlier, 3 years. Where did we mention that earlier? Oh yeah, we said that Trump was being banned from doing business in New York City for 3 years. I'm going to get this cord out of the way because it tends to make noise when I'm talking. So it kind of like they're saying, you're going to ban Trump, you're going to ban us from doing business in New York City. Number 6, Trump himself acknowledged the trucker support, expressing gratitude on his Truth social network. I don't know if anybody reads that or not. I think I've got an account there, but I do most of my stuff on X, formerly Twitter. By the way, you can look in the upper left-hand corner. You can see my Twitter address, so you can follow me on Twitter. But anyhow, Trump has said that he is grateful for what they're doing, and he criticized President Biden's administration for handling law enforcement, which I guess is kind of unrelated, but, he had a chance for a jab, and he took it. Why not? Number 7, Chicago Ray clarified that he doesn't claim leadership of the movement, but he stands with Trump and supports the truckers, call them Trump truckers, making their own decisions. All right, so what do we take away from this? What we take away from this is, my opinion, we see the underbelly of the woke left is that while on the surface they have this arrogance, this narcissism, they think that they are right always, all the time. They do whatever they want. How do you say that this is not trying to affect the outcome of the presidential election? You know, they say, well, we're just doing justice. Well, your timing seems to be telling. They're going after Trump, I believe, because they don't want him to be president. Now, I got to tell you, I don't support a presidential candidate. I'm not pro-Trump. I am patriotic. I want whoever will be the best for the country. I don't care if it's Trump or, forget her name, used to be governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley. Yeah, I'd support her if I thought she would be best for the country. I'd support anybody who would be good for our country. I'd even support Hillary if, got to put that if in there, if she were good for the country. She's not, so no support there. But it's not a matter of supporting Trump or any candidate. It's a matter of supporting our nation. That's important. All right. So should these truckers do this? Yeah, I think they should, because what we have in this country is we have a formal republic. That's a form of democracy. But we have an informal republic, an informal form of democracy. That is where we can boycott anything we want to boycott. And will the left complain about this? The woke left, these people who are the cancel culture, who try to manipulate what we think and what we do by their actions, by shutting us up. Well, guess what? We have a way, that is, we being patriots, we have a way of speaking up even when you try to shut us up. And I'm old enough to remember back in the day being 1960s, 1970s, when there were three major news networks, all with a left-leaning bias. And that was pretty much it. Most newspapers in the country were left-leaning. Not anymore. We now have the media. And yeah, we have the internet, I should say. And much of that is left-leaning, but still, we can get the word out. I'm doing it right now. Thank you, YouTube, for letting me speak the truth. Okay, that's a bit of sarcasm, but yeah, I'm grateful for YouTube. So, that's the takeaway. The takeaway is Americans are fed up and we're tired of uninvited guests coming over the wall. Not blaming the guest. I mean, I'd do the same thing if I were them. In fact, I'd been here 20 years ago. But don't blame them, blame the government. And we have a person, and again, I'm not supporting a candidate, I'm supporting an idea, but we have a person who has the idea that he wants to put a stop to uninvited guests coming into our country and destroying our economy. And the other takeaway is this. That is, Mayor Adams in New York City, he's complained much about Texas sending uninvited guests to his city, putting a tremendous burden on his city. But yet New Yorkers, and by the way, this is all concentrated in New York City, upper New York, upstate New York. By and large, those people tend to be conservatives. They tend to be patriots. So there's really kind of like two New Yorks. But lower New York, the New York City area, tends to dominate the state political scene. And they're complaining about uninvited guests coming to their city. Well, now they do something that is just totally stupid, devastating their state, devastating their economy, by attacking the very person who wants to help their economy. And so truckers, I think, are doing the right thing. So, yeah, they got my support. If you got something out of this video, join our family by hitting the subscribe button. Brand new channel. We have, maybe a dozen subscribers at this point. What that means is when you leave a comment, I can read it and I can respond to most of them, probably all of them. Give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share this on social media because that does help more than you know. And we'll see y'all next time.